it's all about inspire greatness, right? That's our slogan. That's our hashtag. And it's all about like whatever you do. So like if you play the piano, you do whatever you want, just make sure you're doing it at the highest level and make sure it's great, right? You do whatever you want that inspires you. And
welcome inside another edition of MASL Midweek with Michelle Gingras, and I am so excited for this week's guest, Milwaukee Waves team member, player, teammate is what I almost said, because by the end of this, maybe we will be teammates. But without further ado, Ian Bennett, thank you so much for being my guest this week.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me.
Well, if you have this excitement going into the interview already, then I'm excited for where we're going to go with this. Okay, yeah. You're coming off a huge week already. 4 goals in your last game, including the goal that brought you guys into overtime. We're going to get into a lot about just this last year and what it's meant for you, but to come back and make a statement like that in your home opener, what did it mean for you?
No, it was good. You know, honestly, it was good putting on the black and yellow again. It felt natural. It felt awesome. It brings out my eyes, you know, the black and yellow brings out my eyes. So it was good. No, it was just good to have Jules coaching me again. And obviously we're great friends. We played together. And as soon as he's been taking over, like my career obviously has been taken off, but it was good, man. You know, Baltimore's a rivalry, and like to start it off our first game against them, it was like perfect, right? It was a great battle. I think the fans enjoyed the game. Us, not so much. We obviously wanted to win, but it was a good start. You know, some guys haven't played in almost like a year and a half. So it was just good to honestly get to play again and put on the Wave colors. And it was good. It was exciting.
Yeah, you've just touched on so many things. Like, obviously, Milwaukee took a year hiatus. So you went to Florida to play, which I want to ask you about in a little bit as well. But for some of your teammates to just be all together again, that chemistry and that camaraderie, did it feel natural to be back with everyone again and in that environment?
Yeah, it was crazy, actually, because we have a good core. But then, honestly, we got a lot of, like, new players and some local talent, too. So it was kind of interesting, man. Like, Marcio, myself, a couple of the other guys, we're like the old guys now. So it's like officially the old guys, right? So it really did. It felt good, but there was a lot of new guys, some guys that need some more experience. But like, honestly, like it was really cool just to be a part of it and now kind of be that leader on the field and off the field for some of these young guys.
So tell me what that's like for you to kind of transition into this, you know, veteran. You've been a veteran for a few years now in this league, right? Like technically a veteran, but to now kind of really own that with this team and to have so many youthful faces as well, just what does it mean to you and how do you kind of assume that responsibility?
Yeah, like I just hopefully like I can set the example, right? Like I'm not there to preach to these guys. Like I'm just there if they need me, if they want some information, I will definitely help. But I'm there to set the example by like my work rate, my effort, the way I do things. I'm a very positive guy. So I just hope to bring the whole team together, and honestly, hopefully we can do something special this year. You know, we're looking good. I think we got a lot of energy, and it's just to see we need to just be clicking. Hopefully, when the playoffs come, and it's a long season now, right? Now we're officially playing like 24 games. There's not 12, there's not 10, so it's official now. So it's going to be a grind, and I'm excited about this grind.
I loved the you know, and
oh yeah, you have some Canadian come out.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You have some interesting goal celebrations that you do after each goal. Is that something that you plan in advance, or those things that are just kind of they come to you in the moment, or are you like I know a lot of football, like NFL players actually plan their celebrations during the week, and then when they score, that's the time that they want to do it. Where do you fall with that?
Yeah, like so obviously if I score one, I already got like my signature, my heel toe, my dance. But like I need to see this new crop of guys on our team. I don't know who can dance, right? I need to find the dancers. But honestly, I really love like dancing, and like the only way you can dance if you score, right? Or like we celebrate. So like I don't know, I just love it. I just get so hyper. I'm like a little kid, seriously, still scored all these goals, and I still just excited when I score. So I just love it.
Honestly, that's probably what's helped you have such longevity in this league is the excitement that you still have to be playing, you know, even a little bit more than what is it since 2009. So over a decade later that you're still playing in this league. And then you've seen the different, I guess, the evolution of it. So that's my next question for you. Just from when you kind of got your feet wet to now, what has it been like for you and what excites you most about where it's headed?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because like obviously as the players grow, The athleticism it's been top notch, right? When I first came in the league, it was a little slower pace, kind of set offense. It's kind of like how basketball is changing now. Like they're running gun, and it's the same thing now. Now we're getting up and down. It's so fast paced. Sometimes you can't set your offense because these guys just want to go because everyone's got all this energy, and it's been really cool. And I think honestly for the fans, I think it's been awesome because like there's no time to waste. Like we're going, like it is fast paced, a lot of counterattacks, and it's just so much excitement too. And obviously with the whole new rule changes, now it's really making an exciting game for the fans and the players to play in and fans to watch. So it's kind of cool.
Do you feel like it kind of lends itself to your particular skill set as well? I mean, obviously you've had no problem scoring goals in this league. So as it's gotten faster and faster, do you feel like that's something that you feel comfortable and you like that kind of pace to the game?
Yeah, well, I'm Canadian, so we've had the cold. So I've been playing in boards for all my life. Like I've been playing in boards. So but it's just obviously to keep up with the pace. Obviously, as you get older, you want to be able to keep up the pace, especially if that's the way it's going. But yeah, no, I always just love the fast pace and energy that the game brings. So it's been really cool to see it grow over time.
You talk about kind of keeping up with the speed. How has your off-season training or your regimen, just even during the season, how have you had to adjust that as you've gotten older in this league to kind of stay at the top of your game?
Well, honestly, if anybody knows me, all my teammates, like I'm built different. Like I'm all about like putting the work in. Like I try to eat right, and I really do. I take care of my body. I try to get at least 8 hours of sleep. I stretch. I put the extra work in. Like I do 2 a days by myself. I'm honestly, I know it's a cliche, but I'm the first one at practice. I'm the last one to leave. Like I really think my work ethic is on another level. Like I don't compare myself to anybody. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but my work rate is, I think it's high up there, man. And I pride myself on that.
Where does that stem from for you? Just to have that mentality and that work ethic after so many years being a professional?
Yeah, I think it was my dad. Yeah, it was just my dad. He works hard. He's still working, and he's what, like 60 something. He's still grinding out there. He's still working. So I think I get it from him. And then obviously my younger brother, he's a beast. He keeps working. He's a real estate mogul right now in Canada. So like just to see like your family do that, like it kind of had you have no excuse not to, right? Especially if I'm training for 3 hours a day and then I get to hang out or I coach. So there's really no excuses. And honestly, I don't take anything for granted. You know, I think there's a lot of people that would love to play the game and love to be able to like move and stuff. But we know some people that maybe special needs that would give anything to run or jog for like an hour, right? So for me, it's like I look at that, I put that in my head, and I'm like, I have no excuses. I got to put the work in. You know, I can run, I'm breathing, I'm alive. So I got to take advantage of it every second of the day.
That's an inspirational way to look at it. Let's talk a little bit about just you mentioned your family, so just your upbringing in general and what brought you to the United States, because you ended up playing for Marian University to play soccer there. What brought you there initially? Why did you want to come over to the United States from Canada? And how did you see, I mean, I guess also too, how did the game differ at all when you were in college, versus maybe now, how it's kind of adapted?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I had a buddy that went there, and I always knew I wanted to play soccer. Football, I played football and soccer growing up, but then football, I didn't grow, and I didn't want to take those hits. It was getting a little rough, so I went to soccer side. And then from there, my friend was like, Ian, this is a good school. You'll like it. It's a good way to get your education. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So I passed my ACTs. And I'm not the best at school, but I got it done. So I worked really hard. I studied hard, and then I got accepted. And that was honestly one of the best days of my life. I got accepted. I played all 4 years growing there. And then honestly, I've scored a lot of goals. I've done a lot of stuff, but my parents to this day, and I still remind them, as soon as I got my degree, I never see my parents so happy. And like, I mean, I've scored some big ones and they don't even cry, but as soon as I got my degree, they were balling. They were so excited. So it was kind of cool to see that growing up in my life. Like they didn't care how well I played or how I did. They just wanted me to like get my education. And from there on, and then they were kind of like, they let me go because they were always tough on me. They were always hard on me. But as soon as I got my degree, they're like, okay, you know what, you can do your thing. So, but just playing with those guys in college that I'm really tight with now, it was a really special group. And like, I was the captain on that team too and leading them. And we had a really good coach too. And it was just cool to be by myself. I had to do my own laundry because I'm a mama's boy.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do my own laundry. I had to cook for myself. I had to do all that stuff. And time management was kind of crazy. But to lead a group, and again, I'm coming from Canada. America's a little different, the lifestyles and stuff. So it was just cool to adapt and to see other people from different countries, different states. It was really cool to see.
It sounds like, you just mentioned you kind of had to grow up a little bit while you were there. And then, fast forward a couple of years and you go to Milwaukee and you kind of grow up with that team as well. What did you learn from your college experience that you applied right away to your professional career? And then let's just talk about how you grew as a person throughout your career.
Yeah, honestly, so when I got drafted to Charleston, I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't focused, right? Like I went there, I started a lot of games and I only scored 1 goal. So I think I started like 27 games and scored 1 goal. So my focus wasn't there. Then from there, I went to Richmond. Again, my focus wasn't there. I didn't know how to be a pro, right? I really didn't know how to be a pro, and then played 2 years of indoor with Chicago. And I was starting to get it. But then once Chicago folded and a guy named Keith Tozer called me, said he wanted to come to Milwaukee. I was like, I didn't even know anything about Milwaukee. I didn't even know where this place was. But from that point on, obviously I met Jules and I met some really good pros. And I saw the legends in the history like Kinger and all those guys and Troy Dosofsky. And they really taught me how to be a pro. And from that on, like my career took off. Like it was just everything they taught to me. I was like a sponge and I really just took everything in. And honestly, looking up to Jules, I think it was easy because he was Canadian. He was on the national team. And so he already had that, right? It wasn't someone just talking to me, but like, who's this guy?
Yeah, was it almost someone too that you could relate to in different ways, right? And you touched on something that's really, I think, important to say too, about just maybe not being not necessarily not being ready to be a pro, but just not knowing even what really fully goes into that. And now as you're, this veteran, going back to what you mentioned about some of these younger players, is that another kind of reason you feel inclined to kind of step into that role? And just because of the experiences that you've had in the past, like you kind of know what it takes to be at this level now?
Yeah, 100%. You're right. I wasn't ready to be a pro, like 100%. Like I could say I could lie to you, but you're right. I wasn't ready. And then with these young guys, again, I don't want to like tell them this is what they got to do step by step, because I feel like you learn a lot when you make your mistakes too, right? Because you have to have that kind of hard loss for you to understand something. Because if someone's keep preaching to you and telling you, it doesn't sink in all the time. But once you're there and you make a mistake, 1 or 2, then you're kind of like, okay, maybe I got to listen to this guy. So I'm going to be there. I'll definitely help. If anybody comes to me, I'll definitely talk. I won't say I won't have time for them. I always have time. But I think it's something to be said when you got to go through those ups and downs too, because that will build you.
Absolutely. Right? That's what I was just going to ask you. How much did that make you, almost getting that second chance kind of make you appreciate what you had when you got that chance? And maybe that's kind of subconsciously what's helped fuel you throughout this career so far.
You're so right. Like, honestly, if I would have had the same work ethic now and this regiment when I was like 20, who knows where I would have been. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I would be doing this stuff the way I was doing now, I mean, who knows, right? I could have probably been up in Europe and stuff, but the fact is I don't take anything for granted and I have no regrets, so I'm fine.
Yeah, I think you're still doing all right. When you're not playing indoor soccer, what do you like to do for fun?
Man, honestly, soccer's like my life right now. So like I'm a coach. I coach my 2 daughters, and then I got a boys team I coach, but I just got my realtor's license. So like I'm a realtor, I sell houses. So I'm like the realtor.
Dabbling in everything.
Yeah, realtor by day, soccer player at night, So we kind of do that.
I like it.
And I got my clothing line and stuff, and then my podcast and all that good stuff.
I wanted to ask you about the clothing line. What inspired that? How's it going? And how are your sales? What can we do to boost the sales?
No, it's going good. Honestly, like it's all about inspire greatness, right? That's our slogan. That's our hashtag. And it's all about like whatever you do. So like if you play the piano, you do whatever you want, just make sure you're doing it at the highest level and make sure it's great, right? You do whatever you want that inspires you. And hopefully when you wear some of my gear, you're like, okay, I'm inspiring. So it doesn't have to be a soccer player. It could be anything. And I always wanted to have a clothing line, but I felt like I had to do the work first, right? Like I couldn't just first year come out and start, I got my clothing line. I had to put in the work and had people really respect me and believe what I do. And that's how it came. And it was kind of like my little baby. So
yeah. So why inspire greatness? I mean, is that just because that's kind of like just what you embody? You want that's kind of your message, your mantra as well. Did that just come naturally for you as what you wanted this brand to represent?
Yeah, because especially like mental health is so big right now. I just want people to be like happy with themselves, right? Even if it's the little things, just whatever makes you happy, do it. And that was trying to uplift people, and just going to schools and seeing all the different stuff happening, like kids getting bullied and stuff. And it's like, we need more kindness. We need more greatness, right? So I think it's easy to be negative, and I think it's hard to be positive and really help people. So that's what I'm trying to push. I think this world needs a lot more good people and some more love and kindness in the world.
How do you try to set that example with you? You mentioned you coach a boys team. You also coach your two daughters. Where are you finding yourself kind of spreading that message and do you find that it resonates with them?
Yeah, my social media is huge. Like if you go to my social media, like you're always going to see positive, and like it's just always going to be there, even if there's tough times, right? Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a tough time, but you always got to build up. You always got to get through it. But like by the kids I coach, we got to work, and it's the same mentality, right? Like take nothing for granted, make no excuses, and let's get on with it. Let's keep working, and let's just keep getting better every day. And that's what I try to instill with them. And I'm not gonna lie, my teams there's some bad boys there and some bad girls. They're ballers. So
yeah,
it's working. It looks good when you see these kids
good.
that have confidence and they got some swag. And that makes me feel good because like they can handle it, and they're outgoing and they're really cool kids.
Yeah, so that's great. That's the future seems bright. Let's talk a little bit about Canadian soccer and its evolution as well, because the USA is obviously taking on Canada in your hometown, right? Am I right? On January
Yes.
30th, I believe. Yeah, right.
Yes.
You got to tell me first of all, what do you expect the atmosphere to be like for a game like that in Canada? And then just tell me where you've seen Canada. I mean, obviously, in the United States as well, like they're making strides. The U.S. men's national team is making strides every year, but the Canadians men's national team is as well. So tell me what you're seeing and what stands out to you the most.
No, well, first thing, it's the best thing. A Canadian living in America, we're leading the group. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. But no, it's been awesome to see like the evolution of Canadian soccer and like these guys getting behind it and like working, and some of the players we're building, and they're just amazing, man. They're playing all in Europe, and it's just great to see, because to be honest, I didn't know if we get to this level. I always thought we could. I just never thought if we could find that talent, and we're just pumping it out right now, and we're building some really good soccer players. And I'm so excited because for right now, we are leading the group. So I got to keep, keep that in mind. But to have a home game qualifier with this big magnitude, like it's going to be like I have to leave. I got to talk to Jules if I could leave practice that week and get back and go watch that game, because that's
I was going to say. I was going to ask you, is that one that you would try to get back for and maybe try to, I don't know if you bring your kids or whatever, like something that you really want them to see, just this matchup and what it means to be literally in your backyard?
Yeah, I don't know if they can handle the cold like it's me, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to definitely try to be there because it's going to be to our advantage, obviously, because it is definitely going to be cold. But I think that's special, right? When you got home field advantage, you got to use it, right? Like just like if we're playing in Mexico where the altitude's hot, you got to come play Canada. You got to handle the cold,
Yeah, I agree. Well, I love this positivity that you've been bringing and just all of these different facets that you're involved in. You have your professional career, which is obviously a huge part of your life, but you also have your podcast. You're into real estate now. You've got your clothing line. What do you think is next for you? I mean, where does this evolution continue to go?
Hopefully we're done. Like I'm not adding anything more on my plate. I think I'm finally I'm gonna be able to rest a little bit. But no, like I just love helping people, and I feel like I'm passionate about obviously soccer, and I'm passionate of like really helping people. So I feel like when that stops, that'd be a sad day for myself. So I don't think I'm ever gonna stop, to be honest. So I'm just gonna keep moving and keep going in the right direction.
Yeah, it seems like it's in your DNA. One last one before we go quickly, just on the pitch or on the field, I should say. What is the main goal for yourself this season?
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, to win a championship. And it's going to be, honestly, if we can win it, this will be the toughest one if we can win it. It's going to take a lot of effort from everybody, coaching staff, even the front office. It's going to take a really group effort if we can do it. And I think we can, but it's going to be really tough. And honestly, if we can get to it, this would be one of the best championships I've ever won, 100%, if we can get it done. So it's
all right.
It's going to be interesting.
Lots to look forward to then.
Definitely.
Very much so. Yeah. Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. It was so I'm inspired. I leave this conversation inspired. I really appreciate the positivity and all the positive energy. Wish you the best of luck this year.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Every week, you can catch me right here on MASL Midweek with Michelle Gingras. New episode drops next Wednesday. We'll see you then.